Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey and I want to talk about That's So Raven because Raven sat down with I guess a queer podcast and talked about her character Raven Baxter from Raven's Home. She said that Disney approached her, was like, well, since you're technically gay in real life, would you want your character Raven Baxter to now come out the closet? And she has said no, which I'm glad she did, because if she didn't, I would have had to go all the way to California and punch her in the goddamn face, because that is a problem that I've noticed. When some actors come out the closet, their characters also come out as well. And it's just weird because it's just like you guys forgot the whole point of acting. Is acting. That's the whole point of being an actress or actor. You're pretending to be these characters, you're giving them life. So just because in your personal life is different, don't mean that you should bring your personal life into the character. Does that make sense? Because she was, she said that Disney talked to her about it, but she said no. And she said the reason why she said no was because it wasn't that she wasn't proud of who she was, or she didn't want to represent the LGBT community in any way. It was because Raven Baxter is Raven Baxter is Raven Baxter. There's no reason for me to change the human that she was in order to fit me, the actress that played her. Raven Baxter is a character I was proud to play, even if she's straight. I don't mind. Let her have her moment, you know? And then she said, but one thing that was important for Simone was that her character was divorced and wasn't dating anyone in the series. She said, I had no worries about saying no to boyfriend. Simone continued to explain why responding to the question from studio executive the way she did. I feel like there are quiet undertones of living with Chelsea was enough, not that that was a true statement. And that was never the intention of living with my best friend, but people saying stuff like that is just hilarious. But I didn't want to change who she was. Well, you sort of kind of did change who she was, because when the series pick up, we never got a chance to really see the relationship between Devon and Raven. And when we finally see Raven after all these years, after the abruptly ended of That's a Raven, your divorce, Chelsea's divorce, and you guys are living together, you kind of did change something with the character, because you wanted to focus on the fact that Raven and Chelsea were divorcees and they were living together, instead of, being best friends who have husbands or boyfriends or whatever at whatever period of time. I mean, I'm not saying that the characters couldn't date. I mean, couldn't be divorced, but it is kind of funny, like, why did you want Chelsea and Raven's characters to be divorcees and not meet anybody special? I'm not saying that they didn't. I think Chelsea did meet somebody in the show, but still, it is kind of weird that that's what you want to show. Even though, I mean, a lot of people's homes are broken in the United States, but I don't know. I just would want to have seen Raven have a happy life or whatever, especially when she was boy crazed. She should have been looking to date regardless, because that is kind of your personal bias in there, where you focus on the fact that no, she's not going to date anybody and she's just going to be a divorcee. That's some of your bias in there, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just criticizing from what the statement is saying or whatever. I just kind of find it weird that that was one of the things that was really important to you, that the character was divorced. Why? Why? You kind of grew up around me and you kind of grew up in the same generation where, wouldn't you want to have that kind of relationship? I'm not saying that life doesn't happen, but I don't know. I think what would it would have been more powerful if season one you start seeing the cracks, and then season two divorce. That probably would have been more interesting than, oh, she started off divorced, but they can't really give a good reason why they're just divorced. or whatever, but she doesn't want to date anybody. I don't know. It just it's not realistic compared to, me being in a household full of women that had significant others before that, date. I don't know. Each to their own. It's just kind of weird not to see the character not date anybody, but it is what it is because, like I said, it's a little bit of your bias showing, but that's neither here nor there. And then she continues that when you really start blending your personal self with your character self, it's even harder. Like, I'm stereotyped for the rest of my life. Let's just keep it 100. You know what I mean? If you see me in another character, you see Raven Baxter, and that's just what the deal is. I think one thing that differentiates me from her is now a lot more. Last year, Raven had tied the night with Miranda McDay during an intimate outdoor backyard ceremony. She basically said, I got married to a woman who understands me from trigger to joy, from breakfast to midnight, um, snack from stage to home. The actor, whose also full name is Raven-Symone, Christina Pierman, wrote in the caption, I love you, Mrs. Pierman Midday. I mean, excuse me, guys. Um, yeah, of course, everybody know that, Raven came out the closet, and there was talks a long time ago about her might be or whatever it was. At first she was bisexual, now she's a lesbian, and she married this skinny twig. To be honest, I'm just like, baby, get a sandwich, get some boobs. But I understand that that's you can't help who you love, but I just always kind of find it funny how these black LGBT people talk all this stuff or whatever, and their significant others usually be ending up being a white person and hardly any black. I mean, I'm just saying, you talk a big game about diversity and all that kind of stuff, but again, that's neither here nor there. I ain't getting off topic. I'm just saying because I looked at her wife and I'm just like, really, you couldn't have picked somebody better. But okay, sure, fine, whatever. It is what it is. But I kind of find it funny that Disney actually asked her that dumbass question. Like, why would you think that people want to watch the show? Where, I mean, because it's gonna be on Disney Channel. You guys could barely even do. Excuse me again. You guys could barely do Andy Mack, and when you tease the whole Cyrus and TJ thing, and you finally got them together when the show got canceled. So now you want to try to go back and take a character that people love to this day, like that's Raven is loved to this day, and you were like, hey, Raven, since you're gay in real life, you want to make your character gay too. Make that make sense, y'all. That don't even make no damn logical sense. I just kind of find it kind of funny, but hey, it is what it is. I'm glad that she kept the character how the character's supposed to be. And I really want people to actually learn from this because, like I said, there's a lot of this whole thing where, in order for you to be the character, you have to be the character's sexuality as well, which doesn't make any logical sense. It just doesn't make logical sense. Or we're changing the characters to accommodate, because I noticed that when I was watching Teen Wolf, when characters will come out the closet, then all of a sudden their character is also coming out the closet, and I just kind of just found it weird. It's same thing with 13 Reasons Why. Other characters were part of the LGBT community, and then all of a sudden their characters all of a sudden part of it, and you just like, all right, this is starting to just get too unrealistic at this point. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of her for sticking to it and not going down the pandering session, if that makes sense, because that would have been pandering, and that probably wouldn't have did well to the show, because you probably would have turned old fans off. I mean, you probably would have got at some new fans, but for the most part, a lot of people that were coming back for a lot of people that was watching the show was coming back because everybody knew how mistreated Raven's show was. I mean, well, it wasn't mistreated. It's just that it ended so abruptly and didn't get a good conclusive. But yeah, proud of Raven for keeping keeping the character and staying true to Raven Baxter herself, even though she herself has changed. But yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.